Hey, 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 yo! What's up, folks? It's me, it's Mark. I'm using the CAD E90 microphone sent over to me by CAD, and it's a broadcast dynamic-y looking thing. Interesting little sucker. Let me tell you what now. Who out there remembers? It's an end-address dynamic microphone, by the way. $150. I'll just start announcing what I'm using since I am an audio microphone kind of guy. Who remembers Zima? Who out there drank and partaked the Zima? I don't know why. Me and my wife were talking about Zima last night, and just the simple fact that everyone drank that when we were younger. And it was like my era of drinking. It went from Zima to Smirnoff Ice. Regular. There wasn't a bunch of flavors yet. And before that, it was Jack Daniel's, oh shit, you know what something punch, Lynchburg lemonade, the watermelon, little tiny bottles of Jack Daniel's wine coolers. Boone's Farm, of course. Boone's Farm is the first thing I got drunk off of. Was a big old bottle of Boone's Farm. That shit goes down so easy. That's what I need. I need to go buy me some Boone's Farm. I'm not much of a drinker, but shit, man, I could put away a bottle of Boone's Farm, I bet. Fuck yeah. Boone's Farm. Zima doesn't exist, I don't think. I think I brought it back for a minute. But, stick a Jolly Rancher in that shit. Good to go. Zima with a Jolly Rancher. Good times. I never liked Smirnoff Ice. It hurt my stomach. I never actually liked Zima. It hurt my stomach. I'd have one or two, here and there. Same thing with those Jack Daniel's wine coolers, man. Those were harsh on the stomach cavity. Really harsh. But I don't know why I started talking. Well, because me and my wife started talking about Zima. But it was Boone's Farm, and it was Jack Daniel's wine coolers. And of course it was like Bartles and James wine coolers. And I think I'm trying to think of when I actually got the hang of beer, because beer is, you don't just go right into it. You don't just pick up a beer for the first time. I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you don't pick up a beer and just be like, fuck yeah, this is delicious. Now it's delicious, depending on what beer you get. Like, it's got to be a good one. It can't just be a random ass beer. It's got to be good. For me, like, a good beer is, honestly, right now, is a Yingling Black and Tan. I like a good Black and Tan. I like a good Pale Ale. Pale Ales are fine. I enjoy those quite a bit. Sierra Nevada, I like that quite a bit. Belgian White Ale, those are really good in my opinion. Bounce. And what else? Sometimes there's like, whatever's there in a pinch will work. But light beer and just like regular ass Budweiser and shit like that, nah. That's not good to me. Not even a little bit. At all. Like, why would you drink that? It's, ginger ale is good, don't get me wrong. But those are like the ginger ale of beers, in my opinion. A lot of people like to call them piss. I like to call them ginger ales. Guinness is okay. Harp was better. I really liked Harp. I don't know if Harp is still around, but I really dug me some Harp as far as alcoholic beverages go. Did not ever really get into liquor very much. I never liked whiskey. Still don't like whiskey. I did like Jaeger for a minute, a little bit too much. As one party in particular, at the end of that one, I was spewing black slime like it was ectoplasm. That stuff was pretty good. I mean, I liked it a lot. It got me laid a few times, too. God bless Jaeger. Back in the day, long time ago. But, because it gives you the liquid courage or whatever, and it gives it to you in a hurry. But, yeah, now, my lame ass, I don't drink. I pretty much quit drinking a decade ago, I would say. And probably laid off drinking hard 15 years ago, probably, but I still drink quite a bit. Maybe 15 years ago, I'd still go on the weekend benders. I was that weekend drinker. Of course, up until I was like 21, I was a everyday drinker for a lot of those years between 15 and 21. Just don't like alcohol that much anymore. There are better things out there and better things for you that are not hardcore. There just are. There are more relaxing things that are socially acceptable in 2023. But alcohol does still have its purpose for me. When I record a podcast in the studio, I've got a little beer fridge in there, and I do like to have me a black and tan, one or two each time I go up in the studio. So when you see me recording an Obscure Mike's video, there's a 50-50 chance I've got a black and tan out of the shot. One or two, that's all I can handle. When I drink with the wife, which is very rarely, we did it a couple weeks ago, and it was fruitful. We dig some Malibu and pineapple juice, just a simple concoction of Malibu and pineapple. To me, that's good, and it's a good way to just kind of de-stress. Little drink, one or two, de-stress a little bit. It's nice sometimes. Who else remembers something that I think you would have to drink alcohol to possibly wear in 2023? Jams. Who remembers fucking jams? A lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm talking crazy 80s colored shorts that came halfway up the calf. Shorts that were so damn long that it's amazing they weren't called pants. Jams. Fucking sweet ass jams. Like, I've never been, not in the 80s, not in the 90s, not in the 2000s or the 20s or the 10s. Fuck, I'm old. Fuck. Never did I ever wear shorts that were considered short. They were always perfectly above the knee, perfectly below the knee, or fucking jams. One of the three. That's really the only options you got. Who remembers those? Who wore those religiously? I remember as like a 10-year-old, I loved my jams. I was a big fan of my jams. So I wore the shit out of those things. Yes. All right. That was quick. I went from, I talked about music on the last episode, and there's been a few good names thrown my way. There's been a few real bad names thrown my way as well, but there has been some good ones tossed my way. I gotta say, the name Jared Leto, or Leto, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. That dude's name came across my eyes as like world-class singer. No, man. No disrespect to Jared Leto. I'm gonna call him Leto. No disrespect to that guy, even though I should disrespect him. I think he's kind of I know of a story from a very good friend and a good friend of his, and she was very creeped out by Mr. Jared Leto. I'm gonna say Leto now. Jared Leto sounds better. Fuck. Dude, like, no disrespect with his music. For an actor to get any kind of success with their band is kind of like saying, yeah, I'm that good. I can do this and I can do that. Now, granted, a lot of people have crossed over from music into acting, and I think that's cool. Like, that's totally cool. Lady Gaga, there's too many to name. But I feel like it's easier to go from music to film than it is from film to music. I mean, the results are there. The results are much better for the musicians who also act than the other. How many actors have become good musicians? And 30 Seconds to Mars, like, I don't like them, but they're okay. I mean, it's not terrible stuff. Like, the fact that I know a couple songs when they come on, I don't know last time I heard any of them come on, that's a testament. Yeah, tired as fuck. It's Friday. But yeah, Jared Leto, not Not really in that same class to me as upper tier singers. Actually, Jared Leto is very average vocally and samey. He doesn't have this distinct sound or voice, in my opinion, that would qualify him to be in any kind of list of anything vocally. Like, he doesn't belong on any top 10 list of anything vocally. Not unique, not powerful, not anything. He's okay. He's fine. I mean, it's fine. It works with the band. That's good. There's millions of singers out there. There's probably hundreds of thousands of bands that have gained notoriety. I really am super tired. And, to be good, to be fine, should not be a detriment. That should not be a detriment whatsoever. I wish my face wasn't so fat. I'd get rid of this beard, get some of that gray gone. Yeah. Gray poo gone. Pardon me, do you have any gray be gone? I think that's called hair dye. So yeah, the top 10 singer list, then I had a buddy of mine try to pull on my heartstrings. He's like, dude, Maynard James Keenan. Okay, if there's a top 10 unique voice list, I would say Maynard James Keenan. There's he's got a super unique quality to his voice. He's got a lot of control, and it's a really good voice. I would put it in the top 100 of all time, vocal talents. Top 10's a stretch. That's a big stretch, and that's from a guy who grew up loving him some Tool and A Perfect Circle. And Pussifer to a lesser amount. Pussifer. And I'm just filling air gaps when I yawn by going, yeah. Someone else crossed my path there on the best voice list. Who was that? It was last night. Oh, Bronson at Audio Hotline said Steven Tyler. I never would have thought of that in a million years. But I don't think he's wrong. I think a lot of people would have Steven Tyler in their top 10. Steven Tyler can bring it vocally. He can really bring it vocally. I mean, think about it. That high notes, the high notes he hits, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Dream On. Dream On's pretty damn good. Yeah, that's a good song vocally. It's good stuff. He brought up Aretha Franklin. Yeah, that's definitely that could definitely be thrown in there. If you got any, let me know. But I'll tell you something. I'm going to relate this journey I'm on to find a list of the top 10 vocalists of all time. And I'm going to add something to it. So the reason I hate to put a lot of older names in that bucket, and there are some great ones like Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding. There's some really cool and unique, fantastic voices out there from the past. But Robert Plant, there's some great ones. But the reason I also currently have Chris Cornell in my list, Brandi Carlile, is because of something that I think should carry over into the workplace. This should carry over into every corporation across America. Yeah. I have slept like shit the last few days. But here's what it should be, and this applies to the music world. A lot of people like to throw out those old bands, you gotta respect the classics. Just like rap, it's Tupac and Biggie, Eminem. You don't hear a lot of new names thrown in there. Rap's a little different. There's not a lot of new names that belong. But seniority should mean fucking nothing. Seniority should mean absolutely nothing. And I mean that. Nothing. Unless it's at a job where what is required of everyone is the same. So I'm thinking factory work. Like, let's just say you work in a factory and everyone there does the same thing at the same pace, and there's really no error for you to fuck up. There's no error for you to suck at your job. If you suck, you're probably gone. So in that case, seniority applies. At a job where everyone has the same tasks and the production is forcibly the same. Like, dude down the line from you cannot pump out more quantity than you because his quantity depends on your quantity, depends on the machine. Let's go with that. That is a situation where seniority works. Seniority does not work at 99% of the other jobs. It should be how good you are at your job. I mean, maybe you could mix in seniority with those things. Like, you could look at it as like, you know, Cindy and Rob are both very good. Cindy has been here for 2 more years, though. She's contributed this level of greatness for 2 more years than Rob, and they're pretty even. We wouldn't be detrimenting ourselves to go with one over the other. Let's go with Cindy because of that added 2 years. That makes perfect sense. But my God, man, some jobs that I have worked, the amount of people who are so butthurt over not getting a promotion because they have been there longer. I deserve that promotion. I've been there longer. If you suck, you suck. It should be as simple as that. If you're not good, then you're not good. You shouldn't be promoted. Doesn't matter if you've been there 30 years or if you're average or if maybe being promoted is projecting greater things. Like, if you're not great at your current job, but you're okay, like you've done enough to stick around, why would we think you're okay at this position will translate to good at the next position? You're okay at this position is probably going to translate to total crap at the next position. That's the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong for seeing it that way, but that's how I see it. Makes sense to me. But especially here in 2023 and the end of 2022, I have listened to some people I know complain about being passed up for promotions to where my reaction was, word? I wouldn't promote you if my life depended on it. And that's okay. I think if you are giving, you know, all you're going to give it a job, let's say you give 50% at a job, and there's a lot of jobs that 50% is good enough. Good enough. You should never expect to be promoted. Like, if that's keeping you in a job and you're comfortable because you're not killing yourself, but you're staying in a job, you're getting paid, you've worked the system, you got it all figured out. Admit it. Not outwardly to people, but internally to yourself. I'm not promotable because I chose to just be good enough. I chose that for my stress levels, for my life. I chose good enough and not exceptional. I think that's okay. But you got to be okay with not getting promoted. That's just the truth of it. You got to be okay with, you got to live with your decisions, man. I sound like The Rock now. Saw The Rock talking in the jungle or in the forest or some shit. And he talks some weird shit, that guy does. He talks some just alpha male craziness sometimes. And I really have a hard time liking that guy now. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm sure if I met him, hung out with him for a day or two, I might like him. But I mean, watching that charade is what I think it is on social media, and just the over positivity to where it's like, dude, this is getting cringy. Whew. It's hard to watch. So hard to watch. I don't know why that came up. I'm sure there was a reason. I missed it. I missed the reason as to why that came up. But The Rock, I'm over that. Kind of glad that DC movie bombed. That Black Adam movie, I was getting Rock burnt out real bad. But he succeeded. You know, he's exceptional. I can't be that way. I can't be as exceptional as Dwayne Johnson. That's impossible. That dude's got way more drive than I do. Kudos to him. So see, any shit that I may have just talked is equaled out because he's exceptionally more driven than I am. And I fully admit it. It is fine. You be driven, Rock. You do you, brother. Be all you can be. He was talking he was talking about like striving to be famous, and exceptional, and like, ugh. That's kind of a weird twist there. Famous and exceptional. It kind of tells me like, dude, you're maybe just a touch too high on yourself. Maybe just a bit. And that's okay. That's how you get places in life. Confidence. Confidence to be exceptional. I don't have that. I've got just enough confidence to know that, you know, I can be exceptional when I want to be. And I can choose to say fuck that shit and just enjoy my life a little more on a quieter level. Decisions we all make. That's just how that goes. As far as what else I got going, I really need to ramp up my music podcast, which is Stuck in My Generation. I really want to do an episode about Pearl Jam and how Pearl Jam is the weakest, by far the weakest band from the big four and more. Probably the big six of grunge, 6 or 7. And I really want to do this episode, but it's really hard to talk about music by myself. It's just not like, you know, I think I said it before, it's got to be more scripted. I can't go off the top of my head completely. There's got to be some knowledge, not knowledge, but some notes to back things up. You know, if I want to talk about their albums, I can't remember how good Yield is off the top of my head. You know what I mean? I have to have notes, track notes, all that stuff, why I feel the way I feel about it. Like when you're talking about 13 albums, 14 albums, you being able to accurately discuss how you feel about those off the top of your head, that is a task. So if there's anybody out there that just really likes music, and I mean really in a way that's you know, you're going to rehash some shit you listened to a long time ago. You're going to expand and listen to some shit maybe you don't want to see if there's anything to it. If that's you, by all means, get with me. Maybe we can do this podcast together. And I am perfectly happy to do it remotely. Riverside.fm. I've had a lot of great success with it over the past few weeks. And I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good. I need to try Emux, I think it's called, or Eevee Pokemon. It's free with a watermark, but it's got some great options. I need to try that out. But I really want to get this music podcast back up and running, and YouTube channel as well. I'll do all the work. I just need somebody to talk to about music, that loves music and wants to talk about it as much as I do. I've got a nice following on that, on YouTube and on the podcast. I hate to let it go just because I'm uninspired to do it alone. So if that's you, let's talk. Let's talk about it. I hope like 100 people watch this episode all the way through. If they do, or listens to it. This is on YouTube, by the way, as well. I'll put the link in this episode, actually, because I bet a lot of people didn't know it was on YouTube, but I don't know who wants to watch me drive. Who the fuck wants to do that? But yeah, maybe if 100 people listen to this, I'll get one that's like, hey dude, love music. And it'll be someone I know, because nobody watches this that I don't know, that I haven't met through my other YouTube channels and other adventures. So that'll work out great. It'll be wonderful. Awesome. And I don't need to record like every week. It can be like every couple weeks. It can be a bi-weekly thing. Fuck, it can be monthly. I'll take what I can get at this point. I'll say that. I will take what I can get at this point. I do not have the right of way. 2 people have the right of way ahead of me, and everybody just sits there. Everybody just sits like, who goes? Who goes? Well, I'll tell you who goes. It's you 2 motherfuckers, and then it's me. See you guys later.